Hello and welcome to this hip opening yoga routine. This is the perfect class for anybody who might play sports or even if you're sitting all day long. It is very important to have hip mobility and flexibility, especially as you age. So let's get started on our mat. We're going to get started in a lying down position, but we are going to keep our toes and our heels together as we make our way down. So first, rolling down onto your mat, you can keep your hands just on your belly, relaxing your head down as well, and then just gently letting your knees fall from either side, keeping your toes and your heels together. If this is too much or too painful, you could always prop your legs up with some pillows or bolsters. We're just going to take a minute. So we're letting gravity open up our hips here naturally. And then I want you to try to squeeze your core in. Try to just make a little space on your lower back. We don't want this to be painful at all on our back. So relaxing your shoulders, maybe tilting your pelvis up slightly. So again, there's just a little, you can maybe just fit your hand underneath. And then just take some deep breaths in and out as we prepare for this beautiful hip opening class. Deep breath in and out. If this is your first movement of the day, you might even want to do some stretches, see how it feels. Maybe you're bringing your arms up over your head. This way you could even feel your lungs expanding a little bit more. Maybe bringing your arms out to the side for cactus. Still keeping the core engaged, tilting the pelvis slightly so that we're protecting the lower back. And feeling our hips get heavy as our knees want to make their way down to the mat. Good. And then we're going to bring our knees together and just let them fall from side to side. So one knee, both knees fall over to the right. Both knees fall over to the left. You can also feel good on your glutes if you just came back from a run. Good. And then grab on to your left knee and squeeze your knee in towards your chest, and then lower the right leg down, flex both feet, and give yourself a nice squeeze, feeling this nice stretch. Make sure that you keep your right leg grounded on the mat. Good. And then we're going to extend the left leg. So just start by bringing it all the way up. So your foot is flexed. Your feet are facing the ceiling or outside the sky. And then just pull your leg in as much as you can. It doesn't really matter where you're grabbing. You just want your shoulders and your back to be pressed firmly along the mat. Just take a couple breaths as you gently pull that leg in, starting to warm up the hamstrings. Good. And then bending the left knee, switching sides. So now the right knee goes into the chest, flexing both feet. Good. Keeping your shoulders in towards the mat. Being mindful of that left leg now pressed along the ground. And then up to the sky or the ceiling, your foot goes, grabbing at your calf, behind your knee. Good. Your hips should be on the mat. You don't want to be lifting. Good. And then lower down. And then grab both knees this time. Give yourself a squeeze. Bring your neck up this time. Maybe giving yourself a little kiss on the knees. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Point your toes up and right into our happy baby, grabbing the outside of our feet. Now we're trying to get our knees down to the ground, but we also want to keep our hips on the ground and we want to keep our shoulders on our mat. We're just pulling gently, opening up our hips. And then you could do a little rock from side to side. See how that feels. Good. And then bring your feet and your knees together. We're going to roll ourselves up. We're going to bring our feet forward and we're going to come up. Try that again. If you didn't get it the first time, rolling yourself all the way up. Now we're going to bring ourselves through. So another hip opening. We're going to bring ourselves through into our tabletop position. Just go into some cat-cows here, dropping the belly down, looking up. Deep breath in, warming up the spine, warming up the back. And then into our cat as we push our fingertips into the mat. Let your head be heavy. Good. And then bring your knees out to the side of your mat and keep your toes together. Sink down to your child's pose. So this is a wide-legged child's pose. Trying to get your forehead to the mat if you can. Couple breaths here. Good, and then walk both hands over towards the right for a side stretch on the left side. Feeling this different sensation as well, opening the hips. Maybe you're relaxing your chin or forehead on your right knee. And then back to center and over towards the left side. Stretching the entire right side of your body, maybe relaxing your chin or forehead on your left knee. Good. Coming back to center, we're going to come up on our knees and we're just going to bring our hands, we're going to push them or put them on our lower back, pushing our hips forward. And we're also opening up our shoulders, our chest a little bit more. Taking a deep breath in. Good. This is a camel variation just to start. Another breath. Good. And then placing your hands down onto the mat, we're going to flip into our first downward facing dog. Good. Warm it up by maybe creating some movement, pushing your heels into the mat. Maybe your hips go side to side. Or maybe you just want to stay in this nice pose, letting your heels be heavy, feeling this nice hamstring stretch. Good. And from here, we're going to lift our right leg up to the sky. So three-legged dog, lift, 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 and then bending the right knee to open up the hip a little bit further. Good. So both heels are heavy. And then we're going to bring our knee down, and we're going to make a big circle with the right knee. 1. Bring it in, and 2. One more time, and 3. Good. And other way. 1. And 2. And 3. Good. Place your foot down, downward facing dog, and then drop your knees. Take a little rest in your child's pose with your knees together this time. Good. And then grab on to your ankles. You're going to place your forehead to the mat. You're still holding on to your ankles. And you're going to, this is like really good to separate the shoulder blades. You're going to pull your body forward. So our hips are going forward. You're holding on to your ankles. Stretching your arms so that your shoulder blades are separating. Good. And then lower your hips down. Bring your hands to the top of the mat. Come up to your tabletop position. Flip your toes, downward facing dog. One breath here. Exhale. And then left leg goes up to the sky, three-legged dog. And then bending the left knee, opening up the hip. And then start with those soft circles as you're dropping the left knee. Down, up, and around. Down, up, and around. One more time, and then reverse the circle. So you're going up and around. Good.
Getting all those joints moving. Good. And then bring your toes down to the mat. Float into your high plank position. Maybe walk out your high plank. Good. And then drop your knees, release your toes, float yourself all the way down to the mat. Beautiful. Good. And we're going to push ourselves up to our upward facing dog. So bring your arms in closer, your hands on your mat, pushing yourself up. So take a minute. Your hips are lifted. Keep your toes together. Sink your hips down. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Little bend in your elbows. Good. And then drop your knees and sink back into your child's pose. Notice how we're bending one way and then bending the other way, trying to make sure that our spine is neutral, gets back into proper alignment before we do our next pose. Nice. Come back up into your downward facing dog. And then we're going to lift our left leg up to the sky. We're going to bend that knee like we did before. And we're going to step it through our hands. And we're going to sink down into our runner's lunge. So if you're not touching the ground, you might want to invest in some blocks. Another variation, you could always just lower the knee so that you can touch the mat. But if you're there, making sure that your knee is over your heel, you're not bending too forward or back. Your back heel is lifted, back leg is straight. Good. From here, we're going to lower the back heel and try to straighten the front leg just as much as you can. And then let your body fall over towards the front leg and then bend once more. So do this a couple times. It's really good to straighten, to stretch into this runner's lunge. So extending the front leg and lower and extend and lower. Beautiful. Drop the back knee, release the toe, walk back into your half split. Bring your lower torso forward, your hips are square. Left toes pointed. Nice. And then walk your hands forward. We're bending the front knee. We're going to pick up the back foot and we're going to pivot it just a 90-degree angle. And we're coming up here in this stance, like a very masculine stance. And we're opening up the hips a little bit further now. So our body is facing the side instead of the front or the back. And we're just going to lean into this pose. You might need to pivot your foot. It's another variation to open up the hips. Good. You can play around with this one by seeing if you could maybe bring your hand down to the mat. Maybe you want to lift the arm all the way up. It's going to look different for everyone. Very good. Lower your hands down, bring yourself back up into the runner's lunge with your hips forward, straightening the front leg once more, lowering down the heel, and now we're going to open up. So we're pivoting our feet, bringing them parallel, and now we are in our wide-legged forward fold. Ooh, let your body be heavy here. Maybe sway from side to side. Or maybe you're here, maybe you're just bringing your fingertips to the mat and focusing on a flat back. Maybe you can grab onto your legs or your ankles. Maybe you want to try pulling yourself in. Little knee bends. Just play with this one or hold. Good. Come up onto your fingertips if you're not already there. Heel toe all the way so that now you're in your forward fold, and then bend down, bend down, bend down, bend down in a kneeling position, and then come onto your knees and go right into your wide-legged child's pose. Sinking down, taking a breath and a breather. And then coming up into your tabletop position, toes go up and into your downward facing dog. Now your right leg is going to go up to the sky, three-legged dog. And then you're bending the right knee and then stepping it through your two hands until you land into your runner's lunge with your right foot forward. Hold this nice deep stretch. Trying to bring your chest forward. Keeping the back leg straight or letting it lower. Where are you feeling this nice stretch? Good. And then drop the back knee, release the toe, and then walk back into your half split. So now your right toes are lifted, pulling your belly forward. It's where when we hold is when we're telling our body that it's okay to let go, we're safe. And then walk your hands forward, placing your toes back onto the mat. Then we're lifting that back heel and we're sending it behind, just 90-degree angle. So we're in this hip opening variation. So we could lean, we take our arm and put it towards our knee to remind it to go out, and then just gently come forward. Good. Or if this is too easy and we want to try to open up a little bit more, we can see if we can bring our hand down to the mat and extending the opposite arm up to the sky. Just remember, wherever you're at is exactly where you need to be in your practice. Don't judge. Patience. It's a beautiful thing. Good. Nice. And now bringing that foot back, and then we're extending the back leg. We are back into our runner's lunge, and then straightening the front leg and float down into your wide-legged forward fold again. This time maybe bending one knee and the other. Maybe your heel is on the mat while your toes are lifted to the ceiling. Opposite side, bending one knee, straightening the other leg. Nice. Good, good, good. Now let's come up onto our fingertips and heel toe our feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. You'll have to maneuver as we sink down into our malasana squat. So you can bring your heels to the outer edge of your mat and then sink down. We're using our elbows to push our knees away. You could sit on a block to start if you wanted to. Lift up. Good. And then slowly lower down. We're going to drop our hips. We're going to find the mat with our feet. We're going to push up to our reverse table. So take your fingertips and bring them to the top of the mat and pushing yourself up. So just like what it looks like, a table in reverse, squeezing your hips. Don't let your head fall. Just open up. Control. Nice. And then slowly lower all the way down. And one vertebra at a time, we're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Give yourself another head to toe stretch. Good. Relax. And another windshield wiper with our knees, dropping our knees from one side to the other. Good. Let's go into our thread the needle. We are going to take our right foot, we're going to lift it up and let the ankle go towards our left knee. And then we're lifting up our left foot off of the mat, bring it in towards our chest as we grab our hands for a bind behind our left knee, pulling our knee in closer. But our right knee is moving away from us. So you should feel this nice stretch on the right side of your glutes, your hips. Just start to slow down your breathing here. Maybe close your eyes, relaxing your shoulders. Stay in that sweet spot where you feel that nice stretch. Good, and then bring your feet up for waterfall. And bring your arms up as well. Let's do a little bit of movement with our arms and our toes and our wrists and our hands. They get so neglected, especially our hands. Think about all the things that we do with our hands. Good. Other side. So have your feet find the floor, and now you're picking up the right foot. It's going over your left knee, and then you're bringing the left knee in. Oh, other side. Sorry. Then we have our left leg over our right knee, and then you're pulling it in as you grab on behind your right knee. Feeling it on the left side this time. Just breathe. I feel like I say that a lot in my practice. Just breathe. It's that reminder. We all breathe. We just don't always breathe right, or how we should be, so that we are calming the body and the mind. Beautiful. And release. Bring both of our knees into our chest one more time. Maybe grab onto your knees. Do a little circle. Nice. Pushing up to a bridge before we go into our skandasana. So lifting up our hips. Good. Our legs are parallel. We're squeezing the glutes. Should feel really good after all those stretches. Good, and then lowering ourselves down. Now you can keep your legs up if you want to, or float them all the way down. For our final pose, our shavasana, just relax. Maybe take this moment to really release any tension that you're holding into your hips. Let your hips be heavy, let them melt into the mat. Let your whole body just relax. Bring your hands to your belly, feeling as the air comes in and out. Good. And then bring your arms over your head, rolling over to one side and making your way up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so we can continue this beautiful practice together forever and always. Thank you so much. Take this beautiful positive energy with you and share it with all those that you love. Namaste.